Thank you so much for taking the time talking to us. Now, as someone who has served the United Nations for over 30 years, how do you look at APEC today and China's evolving role in it?
I think such alliances that focus on cooperation in specific spheres are of importance at a time where we're seeing greater global fragmentation. I mean, if you look at APEC's membership and its achievements, it makes up, I think, about 60% of global GDP, and it has almost half of humanity in terms of the economies it represents. And I think since its start, it's reduced poverty levels and increased income levels by many times over in those countries. So across a very broad set of nations, but a group that make up a very sizable proportion of humanity with very different levels of development, it's made a real difference in the lives of the less well-off inhabitants. So in that sense, I think it continues to have an important role, and not least because it includes nations who in other areas, who in other fora, do not necessarily see eye to eye. So both China and the US are part of APEC. So it's important that they can have one forum where they come together and work together on economic and hopefully also social and environmental development through a forum like APEC.
You've long promoted inclusive growth for marginalized groups. You've also led global surveys on youth economic participation. I want to get your take on this. How do you think, what concrete actions could APEC take to make sure that young entrepreneurs, young founders, and SMEs could plug into the emerging tech value chains without hitting a glass wall?
Well, I think a problem of a lot of these organizations, including the one I came from, the United Nations, is they tend to meet principally in the format of official government or diplomatic representatives. And those people in all countries, with rare exceptions, tend to belong to the older generations. And youth are not consciously excluded, but just by force of practice, they don't tend to play a very active role. So I think APEC can make a much greater effort, not just to have youth meetings, but to make sure that in the main meetings, a large part of the delegations are made up of younger people. So where economy ministers meet, which is a large part of APEC, where you have ministerial meetings, there should be a high component of younger delegates, and they should be mainstreamed. Youth cannot just be a separate group that you occasionally call together in meetings. They have to be in all the main meetings. And then you can do more to finance youth-driven initiatives. You can do more to convene young entrepreneur meetings and match them with cross-border financing mechanisms. And then you can identify young champions, successful innovators from across this huge space called APEC, and figurehead them as examples in APEC meetings, either through special panels or prize awarding ceremonies. There are many different ways to do that. But it's the young people of today who will decide whether APEC as an organization has a future or not. It's not going to be the people, it's not going to be the ministers of economy of my age who are going to decide that. And if they think that, they delude themselves.